some of the fibers benefit more from one or the other type of training. For instance, the bigger, fast-twitch muscle fibers get their best growth and muscular hypertrophy from training with heavy loads. Hello YouTube, my name is Daniel, welcome to my channel. No more intro, I'm diving straight into 5 important hypertrophy training guidelines. Firstly, always train with good form and technique. Most of you guys got this one checked already, but it has to be mentioned in this video. You want to keep the technique clean, safe, and most of all, effective. Train with full range of motion and in a way that maximizes tension on the target muscle and minimizes damage and wear and tear to the joints and tendons. Aim to make all reps look and feel equally as good. This will not only keep you safe and effective, but also make it easier to gauge the proximity to failure and determine progression. Number 2. Progressively overload in training volume and load. Start your first week off training with 3 to 4 reps in reserve. That is, 3 to 4 reps shy from failure. I would recommend counting failure as when you no longer can execute another rep with solid technique. Aim to add 1 or 2 sets into each coming training session and progress closer to failure in as many sets as you can. In some exercises, you want to prioritize to progress in load to stay in that desired rep range. The bench press, squat, and other big compound exercises are good examples for where you typically want to stay in a lower rep range. All in all, you want to find and start training from your minimal effective volume and then progress your way towards your maximum recoverable volume. Number 3. Manage fatigue by deloading. After a few weeks of constant overloading, usually somewhere around 4 to 6 weeks of training, your progressive overload gets you so close to failure that you're pretty much training with 0 reps in reserve on most of your sets. This causes a lot of systemic and muscular fatigue, and your performance will slowly start to plateau or decline. If or when you hit this wall, it's a good time for deload week, to give your body and central nervous system some time to recover fully. You can drop your intensity or total training volume by approximately 50% during this period. You're only in the gym doing enough work to maintain your hard-earned gains as you bring the fatigue down. After this, then you can hit a new cycle of training with some of the adjustments that you see fit for continual progression. Maybe it's a little bit more load, or total working volume, or a few new exercises. Number 4. Pick exercises that give you a good stimulus but cause slow fatigue. When it comes to hypertrophy training, you have the luxury of picking and choosing whatever exercises that gives you the best stimulus to fatigue ratio. That is, exercises that gives the target muscle a great pump, good muscle disruption and soreness, without causing too much total fatigue to your body, your joints and your ligaments. If all you feel is joint pain from doing a certain exercises, maybe in a certain rep range even, then try a different rep range for that exercise, or perhaps even a different exercise altogether that gives a better muscular stimulus for you. You want to use exercises that works the best for you in terms of causing a high muscle damage and stimulus, but with as low non-muscular damage and total systemic fatigue as possible. Number 5. Train with a diversity of rep ranges. Muscles are composed of different types of muscle fibers. Some are faster twitch fibers, and some are more of the slow twitch enduring types. Nowadays, Science says that there is a spectrum of different fibers, all the way from super high force, fast twitch fibers down to slow twitch, enduring fibers. The high force, big and fast twitch fibers are good at generating a ton of force and speed. They're very explosive. And the other type, at the other spectrum, so to speak, are the more enduring, smaller and slower, but much more vascularized fibers. These are good at doing work for an extended period of time. They are very fatigue resistant, but not very good at producing high power. And then we have some types in between these two. These different types of muscle fibers respond differently to different types of training and stimulus. Also, keep in mind that muscle fiber types also are determined genetically. Some people have more of the fast twitch fibers and some have more of the slow twitch fibers. Some muscles in your body are typically composed of more fast twitch fibers and others of more slow twitch fibers. They all grow from the stimulus of training, may it be high force and load, or longer time under tension, more of a pump training style, and lactate buildup, but some of the fibers benefit more from one or the other type of training. For instance, the bigger, fast twitch muscle fibers get their best growth and muscular hypertrophy from training with heavy loads, that is high weights in lower rep ranges. The middle type fibers that aren't the most force producing fibers but aren't the most enduring either probably gets the best stimulus from a middle ground of load but with higher volume. And lastly, the smaller ones, these slow twitch fibers that are very much weaker in terms of producing force but much more enduring, probably grow the most from that lactate and metabolite buildup around the cell. They grow mostly from the burn. They benefit the most from the 20 to 30 rep range, using drop sets, etc. Knowing this and wanting to optimize the muscle growth for all our different types of muscle fibers, you therefore want to try to tailor your workouts to stimulate all these types of fibers in your different muscles in the most optimal way, or at least give them the chance to get their most optimal stimulus. Do some sets in the 5 to 10 rep range, some sets in the 10 to 15 rep range, and do some sets in the 20 to 30 rep range. You have to do some experimentation with yourself to find out what seems to be working best for you and what muscles get the best results from doing what type of rep ranges. What muscles do you get super sore in from doing sets of 5 to 8 reps? What muscles do you feel nothing but super tired and no soreness at all from hitting them with the same rep range? This could give you a slight indication of what kind of rep range would work best for that muscle and for you. But do remember, if you're a strength athlete, for instance, you probably want to just prioritize and adapt your biggest fast twitch muscle fibers as much as possible, because that's what's specifically needed for your sport. If you're doing some kind of endurance sport, you may want to focus on training that benefits your ability to handle high levels of metabolites and lactate buildup in your muscles. If you're just interested in full muscular development and just want to get as jacked as possible, then it would probably best to go through all these different rep ranges to try to stimulate every single muscle fiber in the best type of way. This information is not meant to confuse training or make it super scientific. All work is good work as long as it's done close to failure and with a progressive overload and of course good technique. But this is one reason why specificity comes in as one of the most important training principles. I thank you for watching. Please leave a like if this information was useful, And please consider subscribing to the channel and check out the channel for more information like this. Bye.